In this video, I wanted to take a minute to show you guys how I'm organizing my fabric in my new sewing room. Now, what I've learned is I'm going to be making 2 different sizes for storing my fabric, and that's because I'm putting them in these Calyx cubes by IKEA, and each cube is like a little over 13 inches. I think it's 13 1/4 of an inch. But because of the space that I have, I'm going to be doing 2 different sizes. I'm going to be doing this larger size to help fill up pretty much that entire cube, and anything less than a yard, I've realized I need to do this smaller one. So what I am using, and what I've seen from a lot of suggestions from y'all, is comic book boards. And there's a couple of reasons for comic book boards. They're acid free, so it's supposed to be safer for your fabric to store for longer periods of time. Now, the goal is to not leave them there for a long time. We need to use our fabric. But in case it stays there a little longer, comic book boards are a little harder than cardstock and supposed to be safer. 2 things though. 1, for anything less than a yard, I go ahead and use just the size that I got. Now, this is the brand that I got, but you can do whatever brand. But this is a little over 6 inches by a little over 10 inches. And it's a great size for anything less than a yard. Now, anything more than a yard, I'm wanting to utilize as much space as I can in these cubbies. So what I started doing is doubling them up. And whenever I double them up, I go ahead and I lay them down, and I'm using packing tape to go ahead and connect these 2 together. Now, I don't want the tape to go all the way to the end because I don't want to risk any of the sticky side of that tape touching my fabric. So I go ahead and put 1 piece of tape on both sides of these comic book boards. And then to really give it some extra stability, because I want to put lots of yardage on there, I take a 3rd comic book board and put in the center. And with that same logic, I'm just putting packing tape on each end, but just in the middle, not going all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom. So now I have a really hardy double-sided version, or double wide, I should say, version of my singular comic board. I will say, since posting these videos, one of my awesome followers showed me that they actually have that size available. So I'm going to get through my standard sizes first, and then the next order, when I need it, I'm going to go ahead and purchase a single and a double. But I do believe even if I purchase this other one that is twice the width, I would still probably double it up, because I do like to have that extra strength to put more fabric on it. So now that we have our single comic book board size and our double, this is going to allow me to have those options to attach fabric to it. Now, whether you are doing just the single or the double, folding it onto the board is going to be the same. All you're going to need is whatever board size you want and alligator clips. And these have been really, really awesome to have once you're done to kind of secure it onto your board. First and foremost, you're going to grab your fabric and you're going to want to make sure that it's ironed out nice and neat. Now, hopefully, if you got it from the quilt shop or wherever you got it, it might already be pressed. If not, you definitely want to get out any of those wrinkles prior to folding and attaching it to your board. Now that we have our fabric nice and ironed out, what we want to do is, if it's not already folded in half like it would when it comes off a bolt, go ahead and fold it back in half. And then we're going to want to fold it over 1 more time. And let's get that going. And what I like to do is I have the selvage side facing away from me. So those 2 raw sides are right here. And when I fold it over, I should have just a nice clean fold here. No open spots. So we're going to get that nice and even. And now this is where we grab our comic book board. Now, since this is over a yard, I am grabbing my double wide that I already have taped up. And let me move this over so y'all can see a little better. I don't like to start it right on the end. That's going to make it really hard to fold. So we're going to bring it down a little bit. And we're going to fold this fabric over. The first flip is a little awkward, so I like to grab right here on both sides. So I'm going to grab both sides and flip it on over. Bloop. And then now we're just going to repeat that all the way until we get to the end of our fabric. Now, once you've gotten to the end, this is where I like to grab those little alligator clips, and we're just gonna clip them into place right here. Of course, I forgot mine. Let me go grab it real quick. There we go. Okay, you don't wanna do the entire bulk of it. All you need is a couple of layers. It's gonna be too thick anyways to get everything onto one clip. We just want enough to hold it into place. Let's get the second one. Okay, and now we have our double wide fabric. Let me come around and give you a closer look. Here we go. And here's the side where I have those little alligator clips. They're clear, so it makes it a little harder to see. But that's going to hold it in place for me while I have it up and in storage. And again, the technique's the same. If you're just doing the standard size, you're going to have your little awesome alligator clips to hold it into place for anything less than a yard or anything more than a yard for your double. I hope that helps. That's what I'm doing thus far, and I'm really liking it.